I saw Star Wars The Last Jedi. Ooh, big deal. Really big deal. The film itself was okay. That's not what this is about. That's not what this review is for. Instead, what I want to talk about is the state of cinema, specifically mainstream cinema. There are plenty of other filmmakers who are making totally original things 24/7. That's their job, that's what they do. There's all sorts of diversity whenever it comes to how our films are made. However, when I saw Star Wars, a couple of concerns were raised. So if you don't know, Star Wars is owned by Disney. They purchased it in, I think, 2012, maybe 2011. And with that, they purchased all of Lucasfilms. So anything, that was originally the property of George Lucas now belongs to Disney. So that's kind of a big deal. It was very telling watching the previews to The Last Jedi when I kind of started noticing some of these themes occurring. Now, of course, this is something to be expected. Whenever you go see a film of a particular genre, you're going to be given previews of the same sort of thing that they think that you're going to like, so that, you come back, that sort of deal. The previews that I saw for The Last Jedi, there were two of them. Those previews were for Avengers Infinity War and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's worth noting that Disney also owns Marvel. Maybe that was what they purchased in 2012. Maybe that's what I'm getting wrong here. What I really want to talk about here is just how these previews sort of reflect what we're going to be getting in the future, and why this could be considered a problem. Not so much a problem of the production of cinema, but more about originality in cinema. So let's start with Jurassic World. Nobody asked for this. I don't think that anyone asked for Jurassic World. The first time that I saw Jurassic World, I thought that it was okay, like a crowd pleaser type deal. But then I watched it again pretty recently, actually, a few months ago, and I realized, no, it's actually a ton of shit. So now we have Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom, which, again, nobody asked for, but it's here now, I guess. Just looking at the trailer for Fallen Kingdom made me nauseated. It's so pathetic. Look at it. Just look at it. It's, God. Why do we need another one of these? I really don't understand. I mean, even the original trilogy for Jurassic Park itself, you could argue, is stupid as hell. It's just so redundant. The entire series itself is just completely insightful on how these things are even being made, just for the purpose of money. They're a perfect reflection on each other. It's great. It's perfect. It's the perfect analogy for this entire franchise, but they still keep getting made, I guess, so no one's really cared. Not to say that nobody's caught on, but no one cares. I just really don't like the trailer for Fallen Kingdom. I was just sighing and rolling my eyes the entire time I saw it. It looks pathetic. It looks just completely redundant and desperate. And God, we're talking about this later. I'm coming back to this. So, the second trailer that I saw was for Avengers Infinity War. Now, this has had, a really big build-up for a long amount of time, and I guess finally it's paid off. I am not too keen on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I stopped watching, I think back in when was it? When was the last one I saw? Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the last one that I saw, and even then I hadn't watched all the stuff in between. I don't even mean the sequel that just came out. I mean back in 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not a really big comic book person at all, and I've been out of touch with it for a while. Of course, I've seen the endorsements and advertisements for it, but I haven't physically watched one in a very long time. And to be honest, I've lost interest at this point. It's not something that I am fully invested in. There was a timeline established, like, back when the first Avengers movie came out. Like, this is, like, years ago. This is 6 years ago now, when Avengers came out. It was 2012, yeah, so it's been a while. They had established a timeline, which I think that it's still going. I think that now they're in phase 3, I'm not certain about that. But they just have, like, all these movies constantly lined up, and granted, it was way more intimidating back, like, in 2012. It's like, oh, look at all this stuff that we're getting, holy shit. But now we're kind of, you know, at the end, no one really cares, we're kind of expecting this stuff over and over again, and that further kind of just solidifies my point that there's nothing original coming out, there's nothing new. Now, whether you think that each movie that Marvel produces in that timeline, or just because they want to, I guess. Whether you want to debate how original either of those are, fine. Like, they can be subjugated to their own criticisms per film, like, fine. But the problem is, like, there is a setup, there is a timeline, there is a schedule. Now, again, each of these films tends to have, like, some supervision by the head of the corporation, whichever that may be. In this case, it would be Disney. But, like, I mean, they get individual directors and writers for the most part. Some come back, some keep doing their own thing. But yeah, there's still creativity there. It's just that with that Marvel, like, tagline on it, just like, it's just like, yeah, this is another one we've produced. Go crazy. And this is another problem that I feel like is going to happen with Star Wars, so that's why I'm a little concerned. So let's talk about Star Wars. Much like how Marvel has its own cinematic universe, this timeline, Star Wars kind of has the same deal. It's not as elaborate as that established schedule that way back in 2012 Marvel had, but it's present. I mean, like, we're getting all kinds of information on the following movies in this Star Wars trilogy. It's going to be a lot more of a saga, just because, I mean, like, yeah, there's the established episodes, but then you have things like Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and I think it's next year is, Solo? I think that's the one that's coming out next year, I could be wrong about that. And of course, we have a bunch of other origin stories that are in preparation for, characters that have already been established in the universe. Basically, what I'm trying to get across with Star Wars here is it's following very much the same track. What eventually is going to end up happening is all of these movies are just going to build themselves into this universe, this cinematic universe that everyone is crazy about these days. And eventually, we're all going to kind of lose interest. And the reason that I say something like this is because history has proven it. Once something is established, once a film is made, it doesn't take long for the production to run itself into the ground if they keep making material. And while that isn't necessarily true for every single production that has ever been created, you can still find the remnants of old franchises just sitting in Walmart's $5 bin. Granted, it does take some time for larger productions and corporations to finally die off, but I think with the rate that we have going here, it's gonna happen. It has to happen. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be an audience for something, but that audience will slowly diminish. And that's what I'm really afraid of, just seeing the death of these really quite amazing stories. Something like Star Wars, something like Jurassic Park. I mean, yeah, they had their day, and now it's just kind of, again, slowly killing itself. Even the prequels for the Star Wars franchise, yeah, those didn't really go that well either. And while personally I think the films that are coming out now are better, there's no telling how long that's gonna last. And that's what I'm really concerned about. How long is it gonna take, you know? Just like, how long is it really gonna be until this entire series, whatever it may be, whatever production it is, just becomes a joke? I mean, Star Wars is kind of an exception to that because it's gone through prequels before. But, it's seen that before. So maybe that won't be the case for Star Wars exactly. But I do think that other franchises such as Jurassic Park and anything from Marvel will follow that path. Same with DC. I mean, like, same with really anything that continues to run itself into the ground. You can only go for so long until your legs give out, man. It saddens me a little bit. Alright, so as sort of a side note, they are making a 5th Indiana Jones movie. I would like to remind everybody that the last time Harrison Ford worked on the Force Awakens set, he nearly broke himself. This man is like in his freaking 70s, man! Like, how long? You can't... Wait a second, I need to check something. Harrison Ford plane crash. Yeah, do you remember how last year Harrison Ford nearly died in a plane crash? I like Harrison Ford, man. I think that he's a pretty good actor. It's just I don't know. I don't think he should be in movies anymore. Now, granted, I actually don't think that he's... Hang on. Un momento. Indiana Jones 5.
Indiana Jones 5 is a 2020 movie directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Harrison Ford, starring Harrison Ford, starring Harrison Ford.
We're gonna kill him. Yeah, apparently he's supposed to be starring in it as Indiana Jones, of course. I heard somewhere, like, this is, as of right now, this is a movie set to come out, at least according to Wikipedia, in July of 2020. We've got 2 years before any of this happens. I heard something about how there was another actor replacing him, but I'm not so sure about that now. Details are very, very scarce here. We don't really know what's happening. We don't know when, well, we know when it's going to be made, but I also heard that it was going to come out in, like the beginning of 2020, or, like, the end of 2019. There's just details all over the place. No one really knows what's happening. God! Do you remember Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Do you? It's not good. It's not a good film. Who thought it'd be a good idea to bring it back? I mean, it was probably, same people who are bringing back everything else. Okay, so here's the thing. Paramount distributed pretty much all of the Indiana Jones movies. But now, well, Disney owns Lucasfilms, which, of course, previously, Indiana Jones previously belonged to that. Anybody here sensing a pattern? So, despite my belief that originality right now is being run into the ground, Disney's doing okay with what it has. I can't really say much for the Marvel movies, but I can say that what I've seen out of Star Wars, for the most part, I've liked. I mean, I think that time will end up telling, but as of now, I'm relatively satisfied with what I'm getting. So yeah, it's not the worst thing ever, but I still hold on to the belief that eventually this may not end well. I mean, we know how greedy Disney can be. And do you really think that they're gonna stop? Like, even if the films are bad, they know that somebody's gonna go see it, so maybe they'll just keep on going. So, can we talk about Jurassic World? Why do they need to go back to the island? I mean, again, let's just pretend that this was not made for the money at all, okay? Give me one good reason why they needed to return to the islands. They have everything, like, set up, so it's like, you know, oh, there's actual stakes. They have constantly flipped between, oh, we gotta leave the island because what we did was a mistake, to, oh no, wait, we need to go back because dinosaurs are actually worth something. Okay, let's just talk plot for a little bit. Again, a complete storytelling perspective here. In Jurassic World, the park reopens, things go haywire. It's the typical, action sequences and stuff, as we all know. In the end, the island is abandoned, and the dinosaurs are left there alive. Okay. Alright, cool. It's Jurassic Park all over again. Sweet. That's good. What are they doing in Fallen Kingdom? Flash forward to the trailer for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We get the characters layering exposition for why they need to go back to the island. Apparently, that's because Universal needs more money. Because the dinosaurs are dying. So, the characters go back. We see a bunch of really generic action really cool explosions. We get Jeff Goldblum rehashing the morals of the first movie. Giving really philosophical arguments. And then, of course, we have somebody screaming, "Run! Run! Run! Run!" And that's about it. Okay. Alright, so again, storytelling perspective. Why the tits do they need to go back to the island? Isn't the lesson of Jurassic Park that you should not play God? So now they're, just going back to save the dinosaurs because that's a great idea. It was also, I should mention, confirmed that Jurassic Park would have a trilogy, so that's the real reason why this movie is here, just so they can carry over the dinosaurs or something. Everything in that trailer kind of pisses me off. We need to go back to save our mistakes, so let's do that. Oh no, Chris Pratt's character, Blue, is back on the island, and I bet she really misses you. There is a volcano going off, so we need to save all of the dinosaurs. I thought that at some point the T-Rex had another job instead of just roaring in front of a camera. The thing in the trailer that happens is one of the most pointless things I've ever seen from the T-Rex. Not that it hasn't happened before, it even happened in Jurassic Park, the first one. But, there's this other dinosaur that shows up, and it's about to attack the lead characters, and all of a sudden the T-Rex just comes in, stomps on the thing's head, and just roars for, no reason. And that's its purpose at this point. Also, as a side note, I know that it's meant to create, this uneasy feeling, but the theme music for Fallen Kingdom? Not having it. I know that it's meant to create discomfort, and that it's meant to signal, oh, this is actually a really bad thing, and beware, it gets dangerous, but, no. I hate it. It doesn't sound that bad, but I feel like if I listen to that on repeat, I'd probably want to kill myself. I can't stand it, personally. I don't want to hear it ever again. It's just, ugh. Alright, so, what's the moral of the story here? It's really just the greed that kind of sickens me, and I feel like, you can say what you want about cinema and the state of it today. I do think that, yeah, it is becoming a lot more about just mainstream stuff, and it's the originality, that little, culture where there's, filmmakers with an actual spark that aren't getting the attention that they need. I do believe that's already happening, but when I see what, these companies, who for the most part were always giving us something new, something to think about, now they're not. They're just giving us continuations of the same stuff that we've seen before. And that's ultimately what concerns me. It's just that, oh, here's this company we know and love. It's still just going to be focusing on doing this and this and this. And only that. And it's not going to be about anything really original anymore. There is an audience for everything. People will watch anything for nostalgia. That's why these things are so popular right now. But altogether, I'm really just concerned about how it's going to turn out. I just personally feel like, this is a problem. As somebody who appreciates this medium, I want to see something better. I don't want to see this consistency of nonsense. It's going to get really trivial really quick, and I don't think that anyone is going to really appreciate it any longer. the nostalgia factor will wear off. It's only a matter of time. So, I don't know, just, guess just be on the lookout. Really not much else to say there. So yeah, that was fun.